evening. This is the Athens City Shade Tree Commission meeting for July 10th, 2014. We've got Title 33 issue to deal with at this meeting. This concerns the Mansfield House, the Visitors Bureau premises and the garden there. And I'd like to invite Frank Porter and Connie Davidson, if you'd like to come up and present your plan. Fine. If you just introduce yourself and who you're representing.
I'm Connie Davidson, and I'm one of the members of the board of the Convention Center and Visitors Bureau. We have been talking about putting a native plant garden into the Mansfield House, and I know that Paige was here last month to talk to you about that. And I want to give Paige credit for coming up with this idea, because we think it's a wonderful idea and we want to press ahead with it. It's within the mission statement of what the Convention Center does, and that's to promote anything Athens. And so we think that the flora is included in that, and we want to use this as an educational situation. And so I'll let Frank tell you what the details are about the garden.
Hello, I'm Frank Porter. I guess I'm just representing myself. I own Porter Brook Native Plants, and Paige and Connie approached me about the possibility of there being a native plant garden put in behind the Mansfield House. Okay. And I agreed that I would do a design. I looked at the property to see what kinds of things that could be done, and I told them that I would provide my services free of charge, and that if this thing went through, then they could obtain the plants from me. I know there are a couple of concerns based on the previous meetings, and I'm here tonight, I guess, to address those. The first concern dealt with the question of shade trees, that everybody wants shade trees in this garden. When Mr. Ingram emailed me, it was the idea that we could put a shade tree in there and then wait 30 years for the shade to develop. And in the meantime, that we would have gardens and we could wait it out. Well, that's not going to work. We can't wait 30 years or 20 years for a shade tree. So what I did is I drew up a plan in which there will be 3 bur oaks planted on the backside of the sidewalk that surrounds the area where this native plant garden is going to be. The bur oak will grow quickly. It'll provide shade not only for the gardens that I've designed, but it also provides shade for the building, the Mansfield House. I think it's very important that we use a bur oak because we have a state park named Bur Oak State Park, which I have to tell you is spelled incorrectly, and there's not a single bur oak on that park. And that's indicative of what really goes on in the state when it comes to our native flora. We really just have used it, we've abused it, and it's time that we change that. And I think also that the bur oak has a beautiful growth habit. It will provide the shade, people will be able to walk underneath of it, and it will not adversely affect the fact that we have to wait a little while for these gardens to develop. My design divides that area into 3 islands, and that there will be 2 paths that will come off of the existing sidewalk that's inside of the area, and the paths will meander through the gardens, and they will both meet where there's a group of boulders that are presently there. And I designed a shell-barren rock garden for that area so that people, as they walk through the gardens, have an opportunity to see all of the plants up close. They can touch them, smell them, understand what's going on. They can get to the boulder and then walk back out. And I think that that's really critical. Otherwise, you're only seeing the garden from the road or from the sidewalk, and you've missed an opportunity for people really to appreciate the plants that are there. In the middle of each of these islands would be planted an understory tree. And the 3 that I selected, and I think that they're excellent choices are Halesia caroliniana, which is the Carolina silverbell, Cornus alternifolia, which is the pagoda dogwood, and Cercis canadensis, which is redbud. Those trees will be planted in the center, and then they will be surrounded by a combination of native wildflowers, native grasses, and then to give the idea that it's not just a wild natural area, along the sidewalk as you're going around the garden, we will also put in native shrubs. And I gave you a plant list that has my suggestions that's not written in stone. And I say that that list is plants that will be used, but there will also be others that can be added to it. I think that this is an opportunity to demonstrate just how much diversity we have in the flora of Ohio, and that this is an opportunity to develop an educational program so that anybody that comes to the Tourist Bureau can see in a very small area just how wonderful the flora of Ohio is. And it may then spur them to go out into some of our natural areas and try to see things even more so. I think that's all that you were interested in. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I wondered why you chose the Halcyon, the silverbell tree, because that is not a tree that is very common in Ohio, is it?
It actually grows all around Lake Hope.
It does?
Yes. And whether it's common or not shouldn't be the criteria for selecting it.
Well, I had gotten the impression that this was to be a place where people could come and see some plants that they might see in Sells Park and some of the surrounding areas.
I don't know what you're basing that on. I was asked to develop a native plant garden. I don't want people to see things that are just common. I think you would want people to see things that are out there that they may not have an opportunity to see otherwise. And I think right now that when many of our natural areas are being infringed upon through timbering and lumbering, that we're going to begin to lose our native plant populations, you should avail yourself of every single opportunity to make the public aware of just how wealthy and lucky we are to have such a diverse flora. Yes, ma'am.
I wonder, those understory plants, what about some of those magnolias that are so underused and underappreciated?
Because they would get so large in the islands that I've created that they would overwhelm the actual garden itself. You'd end up with trees and nothing else. The bur oaks will satisfy, I think, the need for shade. Mm-hmm. And I say shade not only the garden, but it's also going to provide shade for the Mansfield house. And I don't think that you want trees that close to the road where you end up with these monsters, and then really you've lost the benefit of having the gardens. So I tried to balance all three things. You have shade trees of some size, you have some understory trees that are fantastic as far as their growth habit, their flowers, the seeds, and then providing the habitat for the flowers and grasses that would grow in the three islands. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the suitability of this site for understory trees. How well they would do there.
I've already grown these myself in landscaping projects, and they have all done well. And
over what period of time?
I'm sorry?
Over what period of time?
Over, I think, the last 7 to 10 years. They're now full-size trees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I know that I have noticed that the redbud trees are relatively short-lived. So.
Well, we all are.
Well, I'm hoping for something, since this is a shade tree commission, we like for it to go for trees that are more.
Well, see, but you're missing the point. Your shade tree that you're concerned about are the bur oaks. They're going to provide.
But what I'm saying is if we put in trees that are relatively short-lived, it does give us a chance to try another species of trees when they die, but I'd like to investment to last a little bit longer.
We do see redbuds. Redbuds, they can go south pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, this is not etched in
very well.
stone. You asked me for my
Sure.
suggestions, and I've given you some. I'm happy to entertain anything.
Yeah.
But what you don't want to do is in the design is to put in large shade trees in that small area and then end up not having the gardens themselves.
I think the burdock is a wonderful tree. We've had great success with planting that as part.
Which
of
one? I'm sorry.
The burdock.
Yes.
We've had great success in planting that in particularly along the bike path.
That's why I put this one in, because I've seen those down there, and they do really well.
And the university also have a number that are now growing very well. And as for the smaller trees, I think the short lifetime is just a factor of life for the smaller tree. I don't think you're going, and it's just a maintenance issue that the people who inherit this in 10, 20 years' time are going to have to deal with.
Well, I'm saying, I
That's
think if
the-
you have a tree that survives and reaches maturity in 20 years, you ought to get down and kiss the earth.
Yep.
You know, especially in an urban situation.
Yep.
And it's if a tree doesn't survive, well, then you do what any gardener does. You take it out and you put one back in that, but you have to give these things a chance.
Are you going to need to do any elevation changes or soil supplementation?
No.
And the second question I had, are you expecting the city to do long-term maintenance on the site?
That I don't have any information about because that really isn't under my purview. But my understanding at this point was that some agency, I don't know how it works here, is going to physically remove the trees that are there, and the only thing left that has to be done is to remove the sod. And that can be taken up, and if there's another area in the city that needs sod, it would be taken there. The ground itself, no amendments necessary other than where the plants themselves are going in. The way that I do this is that you don't create rich soil. These are native plants. You plant them, excuse me, and then you use a mulch that is a combination of shredded leaves, wood chips, and that provides all of the nutrients these plants need, and it also begins to break down the existing soil so that essentially you're creating the same sort of soil that you would have in a woodland area.
The Tree Commission's role in all this is that under Title 33 we advise the Service Safety Director on plantings and tree removals and so on that in the public spaces of the city. So the questions that Ron is asking, he's asking really on behalf of the Service Safety Director. She's the one who's going to have to agree with the Mansfield House people as to what the ongoing maintenance issue is going to be and so on. I don't think it's up to the Tree Commission to try and resolve that one.
Exactly. But I would like to know, and another question I had, and John, you may know the answer, is there any runway in that area that's been covered?
Is there any cement? Yeah.
Yeah, because if you take that soil off, I'm wondering
You're
how.
taking the soil off. You're
Well,
taking
the
it
sod.
out well, that's an inch.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Covered anything there. I don't know.
There have been some problems in certain areas of the community centre where we discovered there was very little depth of soil once people investigated.
Well, that I can't answer. I don't have
Not
that
until you dig a hole,
exposure.
you won't
But I
know.
mean, that's something that's easily determined. It would make no difference what kind of plant you're putting in.
Yeah.
You still are going to have to. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
The crab apples.
Yeah, they have.
Are mature.
Yeah. And the
Some of
other,
them aren't
I mean,
doing so well.
essentially, the trees would go pretty close to where the existing ones are. And I'll pass this around. It's just a very simple design, but it gives you an idea that, may I? No.
So,
Ron, would it be an idea to dig a hole before we remove the trees that are alive? There's one in particular which is in relatively good condition. Before we take out those trees, to dig down and make sure we've got.
I might just take a hole punch and poke around.
again, that's something I think the city has to do for
Sure.
itself. I mean, I think if we are satisfied with recommending this plan to the city. The process is then for the service safety director to decide what she wants to do in this context.
Well, I'd like to just alleviate any questions that come up after this, because it's time that you think you need to get moving on it. Number one is that you've addressed the issue about having shade trees, and the bur oaks, even though they're on the outside of that sidewalk, they will provide the shade that you're concerned about. If you put them into these islands that I've created, then you're going to have a tree that basically covers the whole thing, and then you've lost the area that could be used for these plantings. The other thing is that the trees that were going in, I'm saying you can change. I think that from my personal experience, they are the three that visually will draw people to say, well, I've never seen that. I'd really like to know about that. And I'm hoping that all of this becomes an educational thing where there could be events that could be done here. You could have meetings. And now you actually have a place in Athens to show what the native plants of Ohio are. As far as maintenance, and I think that's something that needs to be addressed. When you prep this and you do it the way that I do it, maintenance after that is minimal. There's no excessive weeding because the mulch suppresses weeds coming up. It keeps the soil moist. It doesn't fluctuate, hot and cold, wet and dry. And the only thing that really would have to be done is at the end of the year you would go in and you would cut the existing foliage back, the flowers, like you would any place, and that would be it. Each year, probably in spring, you would go in and you would apply mulch again, like you would anywhere. And as these plants develop, they're going to fill in. There's not going to be any open space other than those paths. So this is not like your typical bedding plant. This is a natural garden. And everything in there is selected so that it has no more than probably 2 feet in height. So you're not looking up in the sky trying to see things. So I don't really see that as a problem. Whether Mansfield House or somebody, you get volunteers, master gardeners, garden clubs, or just people who are interested, I think you could have a meeting, a social event. You come in, spend a day, weed a little bit, mulch a little bit, eat a hot dog, and think, wow, we did good.
I love the theory of that, but it is really hard to maintain flower beds over time, especially ones that you did not plant. I mean, I love you, you know that. But that's something for you all to really, the trees are the anchors, the trees will grow and really become the anchor point, the focal point of the facility over time. But the flowers, we're all gardeners, right? I mean, it's hard when you didn't plant it. I just, looked at Belgrade the other day and, they were talking about how, I'm sorry, all the natives look like weeds at some point during their lifetime. This guy went through and weeded all the native wildflowers because he thought they were weeds. So it's just, I want you guys to go on with your eyes. It's definitely.
We talked about maintenance.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you do. And mixing like the woodies in with the flowers will help, getting some layers, some Virginia sweet spire in there, maybe a witch hazel.
How about strawberry bush? There you are, see? Now you got people hooked.
Yeah.
Emily, you look like you're just sitting on an egg. I mean, what's bothering you?
Well, this isn't the tree commission problem, but ongoing maintenance. I mean, the idea of a garden club or master gardeners coming in and doing some of the weeding, that's not going to happen. And there are other plantings in public property that are not being maintained by the organization that put them in, and that has disturbed me very much, and I would hate to see that happen here. And it can be expensive to get adequate maintenance, particularly over a period of time.
In a large area.
And I guess I was disturbed because the old roses that had been donated there some years ago have been neglected, and that area is terribly weedy and not taken care of. Well, I know, but if you can't maintain that,
Which is
Well, then why
relatively
not-
small.
can you maintain the new that you put in?
I think it's good to clarify that we rent the building from the city, and we do maintain a certain portion of the beds with project plant, but we don't mow, and that back flower bed has not been maintained by project plant for a number of years. So, I think there's probably a very fine line there about what the CDB can technically be responsible for and what is just part of the property. And what we saw was this as an opportunity to really create an attraction for people to come to learn, sort of as a hub to get them out into other parts of the community and the region as an educational tool, but also as a way to encourage visitors to do something more than just the traditional things that we offer here. So, yeah, I see what you're saying about that back flower bed, but we'll have to have a conversation with the city about it.
Well, in a lot of the bigger cities, flowers are important, trees, I think, are the workhorses doing all the good stuff, but flowers get the crowd excited. But they're hiring contractors, and it might be, I have no idea what the, we're all limited resources here, but, be open to that.
And they can't hear you on the television when you speak from the audience.
So if you want to come to the table or the podium, that would be great.
Sorry about that. But, just to address the maintenance, because we want to see this be successful too. And yeah, so, a lot of times contractors, because they are paid, they're professionals, they're going to know just because the plant isn't flowering, it's not a weed. Whereas sometimes volunteers that come for the hot dogs, as you mentioned, Frank, might weed something they shouldn't.
The board did vote an increase in the maintenance budget, so there's more money than it has been.
We're just trying
We're
to.
moving off what the tree commission really
Right.
has to worry
Yeah, I
about.
think that, I think, but if I may, is just make a decision.
Yeah, I don't hear any objections from our tree commission.
I'd like to point out that I think it sounds great. It sounds like in the long run, this will be lower maintenance, less mowing, and I'm always happy to see any project that requires less mowing. That's gas and wear and tear on the mowers. Of course, there's going to be some maintenance involved, but I think that between the Visitors Bureau and the city, we'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's the next step. So if there's no objection, I think we
So
will.
we're removing 5 crabapple
Yeah,
trees.
which
and
are
then-
getting towards the end of their
in their
life.
life anyway.
Yep.
And then replacing them with three
Three-
shade trees.
three
which
large
are
shade
burrows,
trees. Yep.
And then 3 understory trees.
Yes, smaller
So we're
trees.
adding 6 trees.
Yeah, and it's a significant change to put in those 3 silver oaks to replace those. So I think that's alone is worth us
Right.
recommending this to the
Right.
city.
Support
Yeah,
that.
I would support it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like bourbons.
Okay, take it forward, run to your boss, and make sure she's happy with it. And obviously, the maintenance part is something that you're going to have to negotiate with.
We'll figure it out.
Between you. Okay. Thank you. Do you want your plan back? Okay, I do not have any other Title 33 issues. There are no Title 37 landscape ordinance issues that I'm aware of. So the next item of business is Ron Lucas, who has got some rather depressing news for us, I believe.
I do, and this could be in combination with maintenance of the tree canopy. It is official. We have the emerald ash borer in the city of Athens. So I'm in the process of gathering. Actually, Ann sent me a number of press release related items to start getting out there, not only for our knowledge, but also for residents that need to know. So we're looking at a significant problem. We have plans of attack from 2006. I recommend that we certainly revisit those and update accordingly, because we're going to have to plan for some removals.
Just to summarise what those plans are, is that we said we would remove dead and dying trees as they occur. We would not do any preemptive removals. other than of very small ash trees. And of course, since we haven't planted any ash trees for at least 10 years, we don't have any small ash trees really to put in that list.
The positive sites so far are on North Lancaster, just north of the former Mighty Mart, and also the middle school. Those are verified, and Susan Calhoun from Ohio University has also verified finding it there. So we did find a live specimen on one of the ash trees on North Lancaster and sent it to the state. Officially declared on Monday, I believe. So as of July 7th, we were officially.
So how far apart are the most extreme points of the site at the moment where you found them?
I don't know. I don't have an exact measurement, but we're talking probably about 2 blocks.
Okay, so it's
I think it's beyond that, don't you?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
but from where we saw,
I'd-
so we're just on North Lancaster Street and into the middle school.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
2 to 3 block area. But it's.
Oh yeah,
it's
it'll be
further
spreading, but I didn't
Yeah.
know how far we'd seen them apart. So.
There's some dead trees that are right there at the East State Street and, is it Lancaster? Kind of beyond Dollar General, you know, where those wild areas are,
Yeah.
the south-facing slopes. It's in there, and there's already dead trees. So it's, you know, it'll creep up.
So Ann, from the time of infestation till the death of the tree, are we looking at a season or?
Usually it'll take 4 or 5 years to kill a tree, and so Juan and I are, I mean, some of these trees are really hurting. We're thinking it's been here for at least 2 years, maybe longer. So we're seeing it on 550. Marietta's polluted with it. Meigs County, we found it, at the park. We're finding it around parks. You guys got Stroud's Run right here, so we haven't even investigated Stroud's.
Right.
So there's not a lot of street trees, but I think where you all can be relevant is just helping private property owners and other public entities that have trees. Like, for example, the school district, that's all they have is ash, aside from the trees that you've given them over the years. You know, the oak trees around the back of the middle school, but all the trees in the front are ash, and all but one were infested with EAB. So if somebody has a contact there, they're going. I mean, that'll completely change the face of that beautiful school.
Yeah.
And up Lancaster, you know, that's all ash on the right side of the road.
Okay,
So
there'll be some
we'll
changes.
Start a
Some
plan.
planting opportunities.
It is, and that kind of rolls me into my next point. We haven't celebrated Arbor Day officially yet in the city, and I had an idea.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the removal of the ash trees at the middle school and possibly do our Arbor Day there with a replacement with some various species. Get the middle school involved. I haven't talked about this with them yet, but it was an idea, and we've been kind of moving in that direction over the years with Arbor Day, is rotating it around different schools in the city so that we can get younger folks there to learn about trees, and this would be an opportunity to show them what the Emerald Ash Borer does, and also an opportunity to plant new trees.
And to point out how big the trees have grown since we planted them on that site almost 10 years ago. I think.
Yeah.
So,
And
I
the
will,
tulip poplars, that you can actually see the tulips yet. That was one idea we had, that they'd be able to stand on that upper level and look down.
What a great idea.
so I will get in touch with them if you think it's a good idea to
I think it's,
pursue.
That's a good idea.
Um,
We've done elementary schools
yeah.
historically, so this is an opportunity for smaller
Yeah,
children.
right.
Yeah, so I'll get in touch with the new principal and see if we can get something in the October range.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I think in terms of education, to stress that it's better to take down your trees while there's still some life in it, because it's so expensive to have a tree taken down, and most landowners are going to have to pay for it themselves. So
Good point.
they shouldn't have to learn the hard way.
I have a question. As a property owner, is there a place where one could go and find a list of tree removal companies? I hate to be, put in that position, but, if someone's got an ash on their property that's dying, and they're just wondering where to go,
The city is supposed to maintain a site of Now, they're not licensed. What are they called, Ron? These contractors that can work in the city?
Registered contractors.
Registered contractors.
Are they certified
And-
arborists?
No,
Not all.
they are just registered contractors who are self-declared. Does it get down to the level of tree removal, or is it just maintenance? Okay,
Yeah, we get tree removal companies.
so that will be the first.
So we do have a published list of registered contractors. It's possible, and I can check in with our law director and code office if we can do a specific list of companies that are registered for tree maintenance, tree care, and publish it, just so people have the resource.
We might want to include, I can get you, just a little fact sheet on what questions to ask, when you're a homeowner and you're inviting a contractor onto your land, do you have insurance? Are you up to speed on your workers' compensation, payments? Are you a certified arborist? And when this could be a great opportunity for people in our profession in the green industry to up our game. There's going to be more competition, and so maybe there'll be more certified arborists. There's a few around, and the treesaregood.com. It's all one word, treesaregood.com. That's or search find an arborist. That'll give you a list of certified arborists, and there's some in Lancaster and Zanesville and Marietta, and there's a couple in Athens that are certified.
Trees are good.
Treesaregood.com, or even if you just Googled how find an arborist in your area.
Okay.
And just so people know, the person who's speaking at the moment is Ann Bonner, who
Sorry.
is the urban forester, and she works for the state of Ohio, and her office is on East State Street.
The two certified arborists in the room, right? We're not for hire.
Make a suggestion too, that if these trees are going to be removed, is that you provide the property owners with a list of native trees that would be viable replacements, rather than just sticking in.
Yeah,
no more
that's actually
peers.
a good idea, because as Jennifer just noted, the private property owners are going to be looking to help, and that's one other thing that we should be doing, is trying to promote good shade trees to replace these with, and the diversity as well.
Avoid silver maples.
And pears.
Norway
No
maple.
pears either.
No pears, no, please, no pears.
Another thing that I'd like to explore before we start doing mass removals is there's a possibility that we can recoup some of our costs with the good logs.
Yeah.
So we can sell that wood to a contractor, and they can do something with it. So we could recoup some money that way.
Yeah.
So I'll explore that quite a bit.
Okay.
Which,
that
well, tree planting. Fall is upon us almost.
Well, it
But
sounds
just-
like the middle.
it's weird. It just turned summer. Now it's almost fall. So yeah, I will continue with our list from last year. But I will also, there's some tree replacements. There's 2 in the uptown area that need to be replaced that are dead. And then we need to do something with Bicentennial Park. And there are some pockets here and there that aren't on that list that you and Albie provided that could use some trees. So I'll get a proposal to you.
Sounds like with the middle school,
middle school is-
Bicentennial Park, and the occasional other ones, we're going to have a pretty big list to give
Yep.
the mayor to ask for his
So
blessing.
with
Hey, this is year 25 of Tree City USA. Let's plant.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Good
right.
thing.
And we should also advertise that people can donate money and have a tree named, in honor of someone, because we set that program up. Is that still available?
It's still there. There hasn't
Okay.
been any donations for a few years.
Yeah,
But
because,
it's still there. We haven't taken that account line out.
yeah.
In regards to Bicentennial Park, I guess hopefully it's dated information, but the rumor that the pool was going to go there.
That's not true. That's
just
a
not gonna
rumor.
happen. Okay.
Yeah, that's a rumor.
Very good. Great.
Is that it for your report?
It is.
Thank you. Is there any other business that people want to raise? I've got one item, but
Well,
just want
I
to-
just have a question about the remaining trees on Columbus Road along the side, not in the middle, but along the side. Is there a plan for that, or?
Not really.
Okay.
At this point, there's not a plan for planting on the side. because we're not sure what we're getting into
Okay.
on the side.
Right.
But there is a plan to continue along the island and plant more at the corner of 2nd and Lancaster. So it would be the corner across the street from the Jiffy Lube, where the city parking lot is.
And Lee's question reminded me to ask you, what's the city's plan for watering or providing water for the alligator bags?
We're working on it.
You're still working on it?
Ann and I and Susan and Paula met out on site, and the trees are alive, but they definitely need mulch, and they definitely need water in those gator bags.
Yes.
Our challenge is getting water there.
Mhm.
So we haven't figured that out yet.
Okay.
Did some of those trees die?
No.
Looked like they were cut, the swamp white oaks that didn't leaf out were removed, on Columbus Road in the center.
Really? I'll have to
There's
get
a
out
couple
there
of them that
because
are
they
not
were
green.
alive.
Well, they've been there. It's very odd. They've got beautiful buds,
I think they were
nice stem
removed.
elongation. They're green. The twigs are soft,
But no leaves.
no leaves, and I've seen it in Marietta, and we thought maybe, they put those the anti-desiccants. They spray them sometimes to keep them dormant when they're transporting trees, or maybe the winter. Slow. We're seeing it everywhere. Marietta lost a
I'll
lot
have
of
to
their new plant.
get out there.
Trees.
Thanks,
hopefully
David.
they're
Okay,
not
well,
cut.
that's
Drove by
hopeful
the
then,
other day.
that there is a chance.
I just don't know, but I think mulch,
Mm-hmm.
and because we've had good rain, but the soil is so shallow there,
Yeah.
and they just dry, the rain washes off. The mulch will help insulate things.
Yeah.
Ron's list grows.
That had to be really recent because we were just out there not too long ago.
Yeah, I hope they weren't cut.
I wonder if Mason has recovered them.
I'll find out.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
excited.
Anything else? I've got one last item, and it's one that I've been regretting having to do for a long time. Many of you know Albion McWilliams. She is moving from the city of Athens, and I wanted to just spend a few moments recognising her and her contribution to the Shade Tree Commission in particular. She was a member of the commission for many years. I'm not sure exactly how many years, but she over 10, you think?
Over 12.
Over
I would
12.
say.
Okay.
I've been
yeah.
here like 20, and she was on. I think she got on pretty much when I came
Okay,
here, so I'd
yeah.
say about 20.
Yeah, so she is one of the stalwarts of this group, what I wanted to do was just sort of formally recognise her in the minutes of the meeting tonight as to what she'd done. She said she was sorry she wasn't able to come this evening. She had another engagement that she's trying to meet as many groups as she can before she moves. She did leave me with an email that she asked me to read out a particular paragraph for, which I'm going to be rather embarrassed to do, but I'm going to do it. She says, I'm so very pleased and greatly appreciate what you have done and are doing on the Tree Commission. Athens has benefited from your intelligent crafting of the landscape ordinance and from its increasing enforcement. Thank you so much. I'm also happy to see how good the Commission has become. May it continue to become even better. The Commissioners bring valuable resources to their work. I hope their commitment inspires others to join and support it. Mayor Paul Weil and several mayors before him made the Commission a significant part of Athens, having Ron Lucas, a genuine arborist and Assistant Service Safety Director, as city liaison, shows the city's commitment to its urban forest. I'm grateful to all who have made the Shade Tree Commission what it is today, 24 years after its creation. And what I'm going to recommend to Ron is that the city recognises her through planting one of the trees in our fall planting and dedicating it to Alvy McWilliams. And I hope the city will go further and recognise her elsewhere. Any other comments people would like to record about Alvy and her contribution?
She's good at recruiting other commissioners.
Yeah.
I do. I'm going to take an opportunity because I need to. When I started at the city, I was a geographic information systems coordinator, and I drew maps on computers, and I added data to those maps. And I remember working with Wayne Key and John a lot, getting my feet wet in how government works. And that was invaluable, and I took it beyond GIS because I wanted to learn more. And I met Alvy, and Alvy was so inspiring to me, and still is, that I just wanted to be around her. I just wanted to learn from her because she brought so many great ideas and energy that I hadn't seen regarding urban forestry, which I had never had interest in because I didn't know it. And so Alvy inspired me to learn it, learn as much as I could, and go and become a certified arborist. And without her mentorship and energy, I probably wouldn't have done that. So I am very grateful that she has been a part of this community and part of my professional development, and I will miss her.
Yes, we all will. Okay. Well, thank you. The very last item of business tonight is to review the minutes of the last meeting and to approve them, if we think we should. I think most of you have got a copy somewhere nearby. I don't think we've got copies for everybody. If you could just review them. Any questions at all about them?
Since I wasn't here, I'll move that we accept the minutes as presented, since I heard no comments about that.
Second.
Okay. John. Wait. Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing none, we have minutes of the last meeting. Any questions still hovering about anything? No? Okay, good. In that case, we are adjourned. Our next meeting is, I believe, August 14th. Thank you.